power, betrayal, war, wisdom. In the heart of a crumbling empire stood one man, not just an emperor, but a philosopher. A man who ruled the greatest civilization on earth, not with an iron fist, but with a thoughtful mind. This is the life of Marcus Aurelius, the last of the 5 good emperors. Marcus Aurelius was born on April 26, 121 AD, into one of the wealthiest and most respected families in Rome. His lineage was packed with senators and consuls. His grandfather was even close friends with the Emperor Hadrian himself. But life wasn't all luxury. Marcus's father died when he was just a young boy. Raised mainly by his mother, Domitia Lucilla, Marcus grew up surrounded by serious, disciplined influences. From the beginning, Marcus was different. He wasn't drawn to the glamour of Rome. Chariot races, feasts, and political scheming bored him. Instead, he found meaning in simplicity. He trained his body through wrestling and hunting. But more importantly, he trained his mind, devouring philosophy, especially the strict teachings of the Stoics. In fact, Marcus was so serious that Hadrian nicknamed him Verissimus, the most truthful. In a political masterstroke, Emperor Hadrian adopted a man named Antoninus Pius on one condition, that Antoninus, in turn, would adopt Marcus Aurelius. Suddenly, Marcus found himself on a path to unimaginable power. But even as heir to the throne, he lived modestly, sleeping on hard floors, wearing plain clothes, practicing self-control. His motto, "The obstacle is the way." Every hardship was an opportunity to become better. Antoninus ruled for 23 calm years, a time when Marcus was quietly learning. Instead of thrusting himself into politics, Marcus spent his youth studying law, philosophy, rhetoric, and governance. His greatest mentor was the Stoic philosopher Rusticus, who taught him to see fame, wealth, and power as empty illusions. In 161 AD, Antoninus died. Marcus Aurelius, alongside his adoptive brother Lucius Verus, became emperor. Rome had never seen a co-emperorship before, but trouble loomed on every front. First came war in the east. The Parthians invaded Roman lands, and Lucius Verus led the legions. Though not as disciplined as Marcus, Lucius managed to win. But with victory came something far deadlier: a plague, possibly smallpox, that ravaged the empire for decades. While the east burned, the north boiled over. Germanic tribes, Marcomanni, Quadi, and others, surged across the Danube, devastating Roman provinces. These tribes weren't just raiders. They were entire nations on the move, driven by famine and fear. Marcus realized, if the frontier collapsed, so would Rome itself. Marcus did the unthinkable for a Roman emperor. He personally marched to the front lines. For years, he lived among the soldiers, enduring brutal winters, battling exhaustion, disease, betrayal, and in his spare moments, in a battered military tent under foreign skies, he wrote. What he wrote wasn't for fame. They were personal notes, reminders to stay virtuous, reflections on suffering, death, and duty. Meditations is one of the greatest books of philosophy ever written, born not from comfort, but from hardship. Marcus fought a brutal campaign known as the Marcomannic Wars. He achieved victory after victory, but it was a bitter, grinding struggle. At one point, the Germanic tribes sued for peace, but Marcus insisted. Only lasting stability would save Rome, not temporary deals. Just as he seemed to secure the frontiers, news arrived. His trusted general Avidius Cassius had declared himself emperor in Egypt. Many men would have responded with rage. Marcus's response? Calm, strategic, merciful. Before Marcus could even march south, Cassius was assassinated by his own men. Marcus refused to punish Cassius's family. "Let us not make more tragedies than we must," he said. As the years wore him down, Marcus faced his greatest test, preparing his son, Commodus, to rule. Tragically, Commodus lacked his father's strength of character. But Marcus, ever dutiful, named him co-emperor, hoping he could mold him into a wise leader. In 180 AD, while still on campaign near the Danube, Marcus fell seriously ill, likely from the same plague that had ravaged his empire. He gathered his advisors, whispered his final instructions for the empire, and accepted death calmly. His last words were said to be, "Weep not for me. Think rather of the pestilence and the deaths of so many others." Even in death, Marcus thought not of himself, but of others. Marcus Aurelius died on March 17, 180 AD, aged 58. His death marked the end of Rome's golden age and the beginning of its long decline. Commodus would go on to rule disastrously, undoing much of what his father had built. But Marcus's true legacy was never about political victories. Marcus Aurelius left us a map, a guide to living with wisdom, courage, and compassion. In the end, it wasn't armies or politics that made him immortal. It was his soul. Thanks for watching Quantum Tales. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing to support the channel.